Welcome in, folks, to another River States Conference Media Day here at Midway University. But this is no ordinary Media Day, folks. No, this is the Midway University River States Conference Cross Country Media Day Extravaganza! That's the kind of showmanship you're not going to get at just any NAI institution. I am the voice of Assistant Sports Information Director Clay Cunningham, joined by the top two runners on the Eagles team, Trinity Smith and Jacob Kosis, here excited for a new season and ready to answer some hard-hitting questions. We'll start with this one. I know, most of the time with athletes, you kind of, I think, feel like the first meet, game, match, whatever is kind of the most excited. So, knowing last Friday, you guys, after a week of very hot preparation, had your first meet pretty much canceled with an out-of-nowhere storm. Was there what's the frustration level like to just have it kind of yanked away almost at the last minute?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's a lot of anticipation that goes into that. First meet, you haven't raced in a long time, and some of us haven't raced since, mid-track season. So to have that canceled definitely was disappointing. But the good thing that came out of it was the next day, some of us are prepping for the marathon in December, and so we have to do two-hour time trials. So with fresh legs, we just went out and did a couple miles that evening, got to do that the next day. So it was kind of a we'll take it situation.
Okay. Trinity, similar response from you? Or? Okay. We'll start with Jacob. So you are, coming in as the defending conference champion. Just kind of curious, you feel any pressure to kind of duplicate that success this year?
I guess I don't really feel pressure as far as trying to perform a certain way. I mean, Coach never makes me feel that way, or my teammates. I always aim high and try to do the best I can, but ultimately it's in God's hands what happens. I'm going to do the work and then see what happens out there. So, yeah. Okay,
and I've heard, you have two brothers on the team, right? Joshua and Josiah. Does that add any sort of, is there additional sibling rivalry that maybe, brings something out there?
It's funny you say that because 2 days ago we did our Go Mile. It's kind of infamous. And 2 years ago, Josiah came in as a freshman. Everyone's like, man, who's going to be the better brother? First Go Mile, he beats me. And everyone's like, oh man, Jacob's done. And anyways, we had battles. Come back this year. I was always beating him last year. This year, first Go Mile yesterday. He runs a 4:34 and I run a 4:35. This man he cut a corner. I mean, it was debatable.
You're saying he cheated. You're saying on the record.
I'm not saying he cheated, but it was questionable. I don't know. So no, we honestly we're each other's biggest cheerleaders or whatever you want to call it. We love seeing each other succeed. Obviously, when we get out there and we compete, we're seeing we want to go hard too against each other, but it's all in love. We're always cheering each other on. So
okay, Trina, I know you don't have any siblings on the team, but do you have any siblings that you would like to personally smack talk here now that you have this opportunity for?
I don't really have I don't want to smack talk him, but he's new at running, so he's on his junior year, and he's been I guess you could say, I don't know, just rocking it out. He got his first race done, already hitting a 17:06, so a bright future for him.
Okay.
But Michael is taller than Trinity, and he lets her know that all the time. Okay. I don't think she appreciates that.
I was hoping to give you a smack. I feel like I've opened a wound here. I apologize, but look at you. You had a fairly deep team, but you guys lost. A departed all-conference runner in Gabby Funk, which I think pretty much puts you in the top spot right now. I mean, do you feel? Has that changed your preparation at all, or your mindset? Knowing that you are, I guess, kind of seen as the top one on the depth chart.
Personally, obviously, I've never been at the top. I was in high school, I was always just in the second or third, fourth spot. So it's definitely a different change for me, but I'm trying not to let that get to me, considering everyone, we're a team and we're supposed to work together. So I hope we're all in support of each other, so yeah.
Okay. And I was talking to Coach last week. I know you mentioned you felt like this was maybe the most like tight-knit team that he's seen since he's been here. I mean, do you guys feel that too? And just if so, why do you feel is the reason that chemistry has been able to form so strongly?
I think a big part, at least with the guys squad, is 2 years ago, we had a lot of our core group like graduate. So last year we came back and it's like there's only 3 people left. So it's kind of that building trust and friendships again, where this year we have everyone, we only lost one guy, everyone returning, and then we added in all this new freshman, very talented freshman group. And so that's, I think, a big piece. We kind of have that culture developed and bringing in some new energy, and it's been a lot of fun.
Do you feel that on the women's side too?
Yep, same with the girls. It's like we only lost a person, so we're all very tight knit, and we're just adding more girls onto it. So.
Okay, and I was also told that there was I don't know if it was necessarily contentious, but there was a big board game extravaganza at Coach's house. Any battle stories to tell from that?
I personally wasn't there that night, but Trinity was, so I'm not sure what happened.
Well, I don't know if you consider it like craziness. It's just the famous game Cards Against Humanity, and a lot of us learned some things about each other in our responses. Let's just say that.
Okay. Anything you'd be willing to share? Anything that's appropriate for broadcast?
Nope.
No? Okay. Yes.
Leave it at that.
We are family oriented here too, so thank you for the sensitivity. Okay, so this last thing, barring any sort of acts of severe weather again, Friday, September 8th, you got the Indiana Wesleyan Twilight. How eager are you guys to, get another opportunity to compete against someone else?
I'm so excited. Me and my brother were just talking yesterday about that. He's having a couple of big workouts recently, and then an actual 8K, not just a kind of scrimmage 5K. And then with some of the best in the NAIA on a fast course is just so exciting. So we're, really hope that doesn't get canceled or anything, because we're ready to roll.
Everybody cross your fingers that that goes. Well, thank you, Jacob and Trinity, for joining us here for this extravaganza. Put the paper up again. And we will be right back with our interview with Coach Jay Walls. Right, we are back for the coaches portion of our media day blowout here. Partially track, but for here, cross-country coach Jay Walls. Coach, we already talked this about the athletes, but just get your take on just the level of maybe disappointment or even frustration with having the first meet, not just canceled, but seemingly canceled just out of the blue with a storm that kind of blew in out of nowhere.
Oh, it was definitely disappointing. For one, I was just ready to see all of our young men and women get out there and compete. I've seen them, daily at practice and in our workouts, but I was looking forward to getting the competitive juices flowing and going out there and competing against some other people from different schools. And I was also disappointed for all the family, friends, and the other teams that traveled, some 3.5 hours away to come to our meet. So that was very disappointing as well too. I felt horrible for them not being able to get the race in, traveling that far away. And then, like I said, the spectators and family and friends that traveled also. And
I guess you feel, cross country, it's not a huge schedule in terms of event-wise, so does that add to it, that knowing that you only have so many opportunities to get ready for conference?
Oh yes, sir. That definitely eliminated one of them, but we kind of had quite a few races on the schedule anyway. I think we'll still have 5 that we're going to get in before conference. So we have plenty of chances and opportunities to see what we can do out there on the course.
And let's start with the men's side. Like, sort of your conference is already fairly competitive, and now on top of that, this year you're bringing in, or the league is bringing in a nationally ranked Shawnee State team, fresh off of 7 consecutive Mid-South titles. What do they bring to the conference, and just how tightly competitive do you expect everything to be this year?
They're bringing in an amazing, very talented team. They're bringing back one All-American in Aiden Kamler, but they also had a great signing class from the state of Ohio. They brought in 3 triplets that are really, really good runners. They also added transfer Sean Little. So they're going to be a very deep and talented team. I believe that they'll probably be a top 10, possibly even a top 5 team in the nation. That's how good Shawnee State's going to be. But then you also have, IU East, the defending champions who are bringing, I'm pretty sure they brought everybody back. IU Kokomo, who were the runner-ups last year, I'm pretty sure they brought everybody back. Rio Grande brought in some great people, Ohio Christian, Point Park. So it's still going to be a very competitive conference. But unfortunately, I would say that everybody's going to be competing for second place with the way that it looks. But with the addition of more teams in our conference, now we have, hopefully if 12 teams declare and field a full team, we could possibly get 2 teams out to the national meet if that second place team is in the top 30.
And it's still kind of early, but where do you feel like you guys fit into that whole thing as far as like, the standings go?
Hey, I'd say we could probably get in there and mix it up with the top 5 or 6. At least that's our hope and that's our goal. Top 5 would be good. Ideally, we would love to shoot for a top 3 or possibly even that second place spot and earn another trip to nationals. That would be the number 1 goal. But it's going to be tough. But we're looking forward to it and we're up for the challenge.
I know I talked to you a week or so ago, and you felt like the women's field was going to be pretty wide open with some, graduations and everything. So where do you feel like you guys, fit into that one?
Yes, sir, I do. Obviously, like I said, bringing in Shawnee State, their ladies are always going to be tough. IU East brought in a ton of young ladies, a really good recruiting class. So IU East will be tough. Kokomo brought in an amazing transfer, and then to add some other young prospects that they recruited, so they're going to be tough. Point Park, the defending champions, they're always going to be tough. St. Mary of the Woods, it's going to be tough, but I do feel like the top spot is probably a little bit more wide open on the ladies' side than it is on the guys' side. I wouldn't say there's a clear-cut favorite. I'm just looking at everything and the research I did, I would say probably IU East has a pretty good shot on the ladies' side.
Okay, and so we talked, a little bit about your, we talked to your top runners and maybe mentioned a few. Who are some other people, be it men or women, that you feel like are ready to either take a next step or maybe just or maybe some new runners who, might be able to make an immediate impact?
Oh yes, most definitely, and that's the exciting thing. On both sides, we brought in some big classes of newcomers, whether it be transfers or freshmen. So I think we have 5 or 6 new faces on both sides. So I'm excited to see what they can do, and a lot of them are still fairly new to running. But some people that I can mention off the top of my head. Obviously we saw Jacob, but we also have his brother Josiah that's came back. So they're both numerous time all-conference performers in cross country. And we also have their younger brother Josiah Kosiks. So he's here. He's a freshman. We also have Carson Milner, who we brought in. That as far as just coming out of high school, he's probably the biggest recruit that we've had since I've been here at Midway. And then we also have Connor Bird, who I believe can step up and contribute also. Now, some of these younger guys, it's going to take them a little bit while to develop and, adapt to the training and all that, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what they can do. On the ladies' side, once again, some talented newcomers that we brought on. We've got a transfer, Riley Gillis from Georgetown, that's transferred over, and she'll be eligible right away. We have freshman Abby Mabe, who is an amazing runner in the state of Kentucky. So I'm looking forward to see what she can do. And then we also added, some more freshmen, and Jasmine Klaus, Abby Baldridge. I'm trying to think. I don't forget anybody. Stevie McSorley. I'm sorry, that's what I was forgetting. So we definitely brought in some more depth, which has been pivotal. Our numbers were kind of down last year, so we'll have more depth, and it should be a little bit more quality. I know we lost Gabby to graduation, but we're hoping that some of these young girls that, as they continue to progress throughout the season, that they can step up and hopefully, fight for a top 15 spot or so in conference.
Okay, and lastly, when we talked about for our separate season preview, you talked about the importance of setting goals, but always kind of maybe keeping it fluid to where people will exceed what they think they're capable of in August, September. How well do you feel like your team has bought into that mindset, and how critical is it going to be going into a crowded conference field?
Oh, I think they've definitely bought in. We had one of our really first, tough workouts, you could say, yesterday, and as Jacob mentioned, it's called the Go Mile. So we start out with a very, very fast mile, just to build some lactate in their legs and get their legs tired before we do the workout. And I texted the group to show them the difference from last year to this year on both sides. And so the depth was just tremendous compared to what it was last year. And then also the quality was better as well too. So they bought into the training and what we're trying to create here. But then they also bought into the goal setting sessions of, all right, we're going to start with this goal, and then when we hit mid-season, we're going to reevaluate and, if we need to, and see where we need to go. Because I truly believe that, some of the young men and women are kind of undervaluing their fitness and the work that they put in this summer. So I'm looking forward to continue to see their improvement. And, as I told them, if they're willing to put in the work, anything's possible. So I don't want to set limits on them, that's for sure.
Thank you, Jay. That is Jay Walls, Midway cross-country coach. His team will be kicking off their season at the IWU Twilight Invitational in Marion, Indiana on Friday, September 8th. Thanks for joining. Maybe show them the paper again. That's like 80% of our graphics budget for the year.
Extravaganza! No, thank you all for having me.
Every penny. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all for having me.